Welcome to the Be Savvy Show. I'm your host, Clara Rose. Each week, we talk about crafting your message or other matters of influence, or we have a special guest who's doing something cool out in the world that I think that you might be interested in. But if you are building a business, ministry, cause, brand, anything like that, you are in the right place, my friend. Today, I do have a couple of special guests here today that I'm excited to introduce you to. They actually have really impacted my life because I'm a part of one of their programs and I'm learning some really great stuff and experiencing some transformations in my health. And I'm just so excited, so pleased that they have agreed to be on the show today. So please help me welcome Corrie-Beth and Mike Lipowski. Are you with me? There you are,
Hello,
my
Clara. Thank you so
friends.
much for having us.
Hello.
Hello. I'm so excited that you're here. I'm super excited to just give you an opportunity to say what it is that you do because you really are making a difference in the lives of people all over the country. So please start by telling us what it is that you do.
Well, busy people don't really have time to put their health and their fitness first. And so we specialize in 30-minute resistance training workouts. We get people exceptional results in just 90 minutes a week without cardio or calorie counting. Our workouts are available all over the world. They're on demand. They're a lot of fun. And we have an incredible community or tribe of people where we build people up.
I love that. So simple. But you really do more than that, right? It's not just about the workout piece of it, right? Because that's not what drew me to your company, right? Yes, I'm after the results, but it's more than just that, right? It's more than just show up, do your 30-minute workout, and it goes well beyond that. So talk to me about let's backtrack and talk about why you started Pure Physique, how all that came about, like the evolution of it. Then we'll talk about where you are now and what cool things you have to offer.
Sure. I mean, I think the best place to start is just what our general focus is. And our general focus is on building people up. So, as you alluded to, yes, what we do is far more than just providing a 30-minute workout. We really are trying to coach people to the best version of themselves. And our concept of building people up comes from 1 Thessalonians 5:11, where we are taught to encourage one another and build each other up, just as in fact we are doing. And so, that being said, Pure Physique really started off as a one-on-one personal training studio here in the Westchester area. I had begun the company myself, and then about 3 years later, Corrie-Beth came on as my business partner, also my wife. And so from there, we've been building the company. But I think what we learned was, especially during that dark period that all of us had went through just in recent times, that people needed more than just a workout. And at that time, we had pivoted since all gyms were shut down. Our small studio, despite the fact that we had been private and very exclusive, if you will, we had to close our doors too. And so we just pivoted and brought everything online. And in that time, we recognized the importance of just coaching people in general. And we put a lot more emphasis on the nutritional component, the lifestyle component, and giving people the tools that they need to, in effect, better themselves.
And it's not just your own little studio now and not just online, but you guys also are a franchise, right?
We did. We
So
franchised back in
you
2018. We have
wow,
4 locations online right now. We have a couple more in the works at the moment,
very
but
cool.
I would say that that's where we started to see that we could have more impact and more reach. The most inspiring thing for us were it was actually trainers and clients that opened the first handful of franchises. So to see their invested belief in the community and what we had to offer, that they loved it so much, they just had to have it where they were and where they had moved to. We love the opportunity to impact people all over. And I want to I know this is our interview, but I wanted to throw it back to you. What was it for you that most attracted you to us?
So I think that because yes, you're believers, right? So that's always attractive to somebody who's a believer, like somebody like-minded, like faith. But just watching some of the ladies, and I'm sure that there are guys as well, but I just know the ladies from the group. Some of the ladies have some success and some transformation, and then a couple of them saying, "You need to check this out. It's different. It's not. It's not the same thing. It's not the same o." And for 3 years, I've been going to the gym 5 days a week. Well, mostly. I mean, I'm pretty consistent, 5 days a week. I have lost like 63 pounds. So it's not like I have not had any success at it, but I do commit a lot of time to it. And then when I don't go, because life happens, because that sometimes happens, I have a book deadline or whatever. And then I beat myself up about, oh, I didn't get to the gym, right? So I'm a loser because I didn't get to the gym. And so then you guys were saying, no, you only have to work out 2 or 3 times a week. I'm like, no, that can't be true. That's not true. You don't know what you're talking about. But just so that reinforcement from ladies saying, yeah, I'm only working out 2 or 3 times a week. And then of course, Teresa Todd, which is where I met you guys. I ghost wrote her book a few years ago. And then along you guys came. I'm like, oh, look at what they're doing. July, I think it was July, we were at the retreat or the event for Teresa. She did a 10-minute plank. 10
She
minute
did.
plank. And I was blown away. And not just her doing a 10-minute plank, but then you had all of these women come up and to like the front to participate. Right? And most of them didn't do 10-minute planks. But I'm watching these ladies do planks. And then, the little where you put your arm in the air. And I'm just like, what the heck? I was so impressed by that, right? Just that show of all of these women being empowered. And I'm not like a big old rah woman empowerment thing or anything, but I was just impressed by all of these women, different shapes and sizes, ages up there doing this. I'm like, I totally could do that. I could totally do that. So I kept stopping by the booth to find out more, and you were never there. You were off doing whatever you were never at your booth. And so then when they walked into the restaurant. I was having dinner with one of the ladies, a couple of ladies. I'm like, oh my gosh, there they are. I want to go talk to them. I'm like, this is so rude, right? They're trying to sit down and have dinner, but I did it anyway. I walked right up and like, okay, you're never at your booth. Talk to me, tell me. And you were so sweet. You invited me to sit down, even though you're trying to have your dinner, right? And then just talked about what it is that you had to offer and how you guys were different. And as I'm sitting there, I think she's in the Momentum group, one of your ladies came up who I know. We've talked about her book and her daughter's book that they both want to write. And she's like, oh, you have to do this, Clara. You have to do this. I think she had lost 20 pounds or 25 pounds at that point. She said, this works. I can do it. You can do it. I'm like, all right, I'm doing it. And so I like went over to my table and I pulled out your little app and I signed up. And it was a huge step for me to sign up for something like that. And because you want to know like how much I weighed and, stuff like that, which I had never, ever told anyone. And then we had a good laugh over because when it asked for my weight, I put in 911, right? Because instead of putting my weight, because I'm like, I am not telling these people, I don't even know how much I weigh, but we have since fixed that in the app, but that's a huge step for me. So I think you're just doing something unique. You're doing something different. You're making a difference in the lives of these women, these people, and I've just been super impressed with the whole process. Okay, so
It's been an
you're
honor and a
here
privilege
talking about
having you, and so many of the other women in the program. And listen, when I first came, because I came as a client, and we don't have time to get into that whole story, but it was nothing, what anybody thinks. It was very structured, very respectful ask. Mike broke his one cardinal rule that he had always carried in business, and
Never date a client.
never date a client.
I broke it once.
It worked
That's
out.
the only time.
But
And then
with
you
it,
married her,
I
so there you go.
That's
exactly.
I had foresight.
Yeah.
I think I had foresight,
Yeah,
not on many other things, but on this one
that
thing,
one.
I had some
Yeah, okay.
foresight.
But I had come so not confident and not liking the way I looked. I mean, I had a 30-pound transformation myself coming and doing this, and it is so different. And I think the thing when it comes to fitness is you have to hook people with something. You know, if we were to say you're going to think different and believe different and feel better about yourself, you're going to feel worthy, you're going to feel like you're enough, you're going to have different habits, people would really say, yeah, right. You know, we lead with the 30-minute workout, and like yourself, they're
Yeah.
already like, is that even possible? And so people come in for that. And there is so much more that we're able to give them through our staff and our team and everyone else that's there. It's just such a beautiful community. The culture is great, but we lead with the workout because everybody wants to lose weight. Everybody wants to get a bit more fit, wouldn't you say?
Well, that's absolutely true. And I think that you use the term the hook. And a lot of people hear the 30-minute workout, and maybe the first thing they think is, oh, this is a gimmick. There must be some reason why they're saying this. They're just trying to grab me. They're just trying to draw me in. And while there is some truth to that, the real fact of the matter is I come from this very scientific point of view when it comes to fitness, whether we're talking about resistance exercise, whether we're talking about nutrition. Everything has to be backed by science. There has to be actual proof. Otherwise, as far as I'm concerned, it's not even worth doing, unless you're just doing it for fun. But when we promote this 30-minute approach, what we're really saying is there is a science backed reason for doing it this way. And that's oftentimes what throws a lot of people because, in their minds, well, just like yours, Clara, there's no way that's enough. That's not going to work for me.
Right.
I'm going to need
Yeah.
to do so much more. And the
Mhm.
reality is that when your program is set up and based around your physiology, around the science of exercise, all of a sudden you come to recognize that, oh, wow, just 2 to 3 30-minute workouts a week
Mhm.
really is all I need in order to optimize my health and my fitness. And then we're going to coach you on the rest of the stuff, which is
Mhm.
obviously equally important. But I think that it's interesting. Most people do view it as a hook, it's a gimmick. But what we're saying is, no, no, no. There is science behind this, and
Yeah.
that's what we want to show you.
And I really appreciate that science piece because years ago, I actually was in the medical field. And so um, I love that you're stepping forward and saying, hey, here's the science behind it. Some people don't care about that, but I care about that kind of thing. It's like, why does that work? Right. And it has helped me to say, okay, uh, this week, this week, I'm not going to the gym 2 days out of the week because my daughter, who we work out together, she's 6, so she's not going. And so I have permission to not like beat myself up about that, right? Because I'm not going 5 days a week because I don't have to go 5 days a week to get results, right? So just that, those are the kinds of mindset shifts that you might not think you're going to have, you might not realize, little things like that, or learning, you know what? You don't have to count every little morsel, calorie, whatever. Prioritize your protein. So that's a phrase that I learned in the program and I use it all the time, right? How are you
I
doing in
love
your eating? I'm prioritizing my protein, right? So if I have no other success, I've drank my 72 ounces of water and I have prioritized my protein for the day. And so that's a success, right? It's perfect? No, but it's a success. So that's been a mindset shift that I didn't expect. Because I have a medical background, I understand the science piece of it, right? I have an understanding of those things in a different way than somebody who doesn't. So I love that about the program. You don't push it on us, but you're like, hey, here, let me tell you about the science behind that for those of us who nerd out on it and care about that kind of thing. So I love that about your program. So of course, I am not in the same place that you are because I'm in Florida and you guys are not in Florida. Um, so I don't have access to the group or the personal training stuff. So I am in the other arm of what you do, which is your online programming. So tell us about the different levels that we can participate in an online way.
Yeah, in the online, I mean, we have just a really basic, well, first we have a very, very basic entry level, which is our 5-day challenge. And that's something that we have always offered for free. It's a great opportunity for people to try it out. I think we're savvy enough as consumers where we want to get a taste of something to decide if it's something we want to proceed with. And we would much rather have committed people in the program than people who are looking for some other form of exercise. So that's a wonderful place to start. And then beyond that, we have 3 different options. They're very simple. Our base is just on demand workouts for the year. So you can work out anywhere, anytime. All you need is a set of dumbbells, maybe a bench, and you're able to do those 2 or 3 30-minute workouts each week. It's fun. There's an ascension within the program. So they are changing every 2 weeks. You're not going back to continually select your favorite workout. Our second option comes with some coaching, and that's the program, Clara, that you're in. That includes the workouts. It also includes some advanced workouts. And then there's the nutrition and mindset component. So every single week, we get on a live group call together. The women are so supportive of one another. Mike comes with his incredible science background. I come with my teaching background. And together, we really help to get people unstuck and in momentum. And then third, we work one-on-one with people. We only take a select number of clients. And it's such a fun and awesome way to really give that person the support that they need and be there for them in a very intimate way. And then we do challenges throughout the course of the year. So there's fun starting points for people to get going, basically. I think a challenge is very motivating just because it does have a start and a stop date. And so seeing that end point, people, 6 or 8 week challenges are bite size, and it's enough for someone to say, I got to do something, and that's what I'm going to do. And so we do have one of those starting on January 13th. So in just about under a month, we'll be kicking off 2025 with one of our signature challenges, which we run quarterly. And that does include all of the nutrition and the mindset and the coaching and the workouts. People have great success in those.
That's actually where I started because you guys were offering a challenge. So to say, oh yeah, you only have to work out 2 or 3 days a week, and there's this 6 week challenge, right? So it was a flat price for the 6 weeks. I'm like, okay, I could do anything for 6 weeks, right? So I wasn't making this long term commitment, right? And I don't have to give you my firstborn or anything for it. I'm like, okay, yeah, I could do this for 6 weeks, and that's when you really start to discover the value of the weekly call, the weekly momentum call, right? The program that I'm in, it's just that every week I know I'm going to show up and give account, right? In whatever that means, right? I had a good week, I had a bad week, whatever it is, and then people are going to be supportive of me in that, and that's been that weekly connection, that accountability. I think that's what's missing, right? In so many places in our lives is that accountability on that weekly basis. That's super powerful. So that's kind of what got me is like, okay, yeah, I can do anything for 6 weeks. So if you are thinking that this is interesting to you, you want to be in on this next challenge because it is, even if you just did that, it's transformational. The stuff that you're going to learn, the mindset shift that you're going to have is a big deal. It's a really big deal.
Mm.
Okay, so we have a little bit of time left. There are a couple of questions that I just have that I think people are going to have. One, if you think, ooh, this is a super cool model, and you think you might want to be a franchise, is that something that anybody in the nation can do? They can just reach out to you and say, hey, I'm interested.
Yeah, what we encourage people to do is go to our website. On the website, there is a section called Own a Pure, and you can open that up. And that is a great place to just start inquiring about what franchise ownership looks like. Do you need to be a fitness professional to open a franchise? No. Part of opening a franchise is that you are getting support. And we personally are involved in each one of our franchises, everything from helping to hire to making sure that ownership is learning along the way, because very few people step into ownership of a business with a lot of experience behind them. And so we are bringing our years of experience and business ownership to help coach up our franchisees. And so if that is something that anyone who is listening is interested in, again, I encourage them to just go over to purephysique.com, enter your information, and we'll have a conversation. We don't do high pressure sales, regardless of whether we're talking about our franchise or just becoming a member of one of our studios or online programs. We really want to get to know who you are. And of course, the most important thing is culture. It's making sure that we're all a culture fit and everything works together and that we're going to work together as a team.
That's so true. Super important. Anytime you hire a coach or, start a business or venture together, that you guys have that there's a like-mindedness to it. So, and that's why people buy franchises, right? So that they have someone who can walk with them on a journey. I think that's super cool that you guys have created an opportunity for people who look at what you've done and say, "Hey, I could do that too. I want to do that too." So you give them an opportunity to do that. So I knew that people would probably be interested in asking about that. And then, of course, you have your 6-week challenge coming up in January, which 2025. I always encourage people as they set their goals for the new year or their intentions for the new year to think about for health, what you're going to do for health instead of doing resolutions, which I don't think are very effective. But this would be a great way to kick off the year. So tell people, if they're interested, how can they learn more about your next challenge?
I love that. So same purephysique.com, they can head over to the website. It'll say free intro workout, and then they can just select online. You'll get a call from someone in our organization or me, and that's so much fun to be able to do that challenge. Again, I think 92% of people fail on New Year's resolutions. I personally don't know how many resolutions I've kept. Having that accountability, it's the glue that actually holds something together. And so the accountability and the challenge is the thing that people, they love the most, maybe second to the community, maybe for some, the community is first. And so in that 6-week challenge, we baby step people through different habits. It's not, here's a platform, here's a workout, good luck. It's, here's the first thing we're going to do together. And then next week, here's the first and second thing we're going to do together. Sometimes we have leaderboards and points that people can earn. Sometimes it's just a great competition with yourself. But knowing that there's someone there that's seeing that maybe you're not doing your workouts or doing what you're supposed to be doing, gosh, that is the accountability we need in every aspect
Yep.
of life.
And there's an app, right? So I'm not a super app person personally, but especially in the beginning, I was going into my app every single day. And it was true in the beginning, it was like, okay, we're going to focus on water. I'm like, that's it? Yep, get your water. I'm like, okay. So you're not in there saying, here's these 10 things on my little list that you have to accomplish this week in our busy lives, right? I'm running a publishing company and I have clients and all this family, right? So it's just this like one little thing. You go into your app. Yes, I did my one little thing. And then there's the confetti and the woohoo, you did your one, right? And then next time, oh, we're adding a second thing, right? But I already got the first thing down, right? Now we have a second thing that we're adding, right? And so that weekly increments as you add those habits is a really great way to just ease into something. And now it's easy stuff, right? I don't think about it anymore because you introduced it slowly, one thing at a time. I think that is part of the powerful piece, right? Yes, the accountability and showing up and being accountable to people is part of it, but also having that support, right? People from the other side saying, you can say, I'm really struggling with X, right? And then you speak to that. And then everyone in the group will pile on, right? We're on a Zoom call. So they're down in a little chat piling on saying, I got my scale. This is silly, but I got my scale from one of the ladies in the group was like, ooh, you have to get a WISE scale. I'm like, a WISE, what's that? She goes, it tells you how much fat you have. And I'm like, I have to have one of those. So I bought my WISE scale, love my WISE scale, right? Because it does tell me, here's your weight for today, here's your body percent of your fat, right? So, and the weight is not like pound by pound, it's like tenth of a pound. So I'm like, oh, I'm down a tenth of a pound. Oh, I'm down 2/10 of a pound, right? Which seems silly, but if the scale is not moving, it can be discouraging, right? And so those little things, and I would never have known about that except for the group, right? Except for one of the ladies stepping up and saying, hey, try this. And you guys weren't talking about it, but that's the value of community, right? So beyond just accountability, the community that you're building is super cool. So very fun. Okay, we're just about out of time, so just have a couple of minutes left. So is there anything else that you would like for my audience to know about what you do or how they can get involved? Anything at all that you'd like to say before we go?
Sure. I mean, one thing that I would just love to really encourage everybody with is that we are firm believers in this concept that big doors swing on small hinges. And this just speaks a little bit to the challenge, but also just to our approach in general. The focus that we hope people take is learning and understanding that you don't need to overwhelm yourself with exercise. You don't need to overwhelm yourself with nutrition. That you can literally put the focus on a couple small actions that you can quite easily build habits around. And if you can build those habits and become consistent with those habits that maybe you'll be able to maintain not just for a 6-week challenge or even a year, but hopefully for decades to come. That is ultimately what's going to drive your success, get you great results, and results that you're going to maintain. And you're going to feel like an entirely different person, maybe after 1 year. But the beautiful part is when you can carry through with those habits long term. It's not just this 1 year transformation or a 6-week transformation. It is literally decades stacked on top of each other of you being the best version of you. So if we were to leave anybody with anything, it's don't be overwhelmed. Learn what it is that you could do. These small items each and every day that will stack up over time and help you become the best version of you.
I love that. Thank you. I love that. So, if you guys want more of this good stuff, they, of course, have their own podcast, That Fitness Couple. You can go hop on over to YouTube and check them out. Go to their website. Absolutely. Check out what they have to offer. I promise this will transform your life. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate your time. I know you're super busy people, but thank you so much for being here. And I will see you on the Momentum call this week.
Sounds great.
Thank you
you,
so
Clara,
much.
so
Take
much.
care. Thanks, guys. Weren't they them? I do. They have transformed my way of thinking in my life. So I love that they were here. I will see you next week, same time, same place for more great stuff about being savvy. Talk to you later.